The warning lights turned red all at once. Jiho grabbed the control stick with both hands as his small cargo ship shook hard. Smoke came from the back of the ship. The engine was dying. No, 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 he said through his teeth. He had been flying for 12 years. He knew what this meant. The ship was falling, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. Below him was Keth 4, a moon that nobody wanted. It was brown and gray, covered with rocks and dust. No cities, no people. Just empty land and dangerous creatures that came out at night. Jiho had never planned to land here. He was just passing by on his way to deliver medicine to a human colony 3 days away. But the universe had other plans. The ship hit the ground hard. Jiho flew forward and hit his head on the control panel. Everything went black for a moment. When he opened his eyes, his ship was broken. The front window had a long crack in it. The engine was completely dead. He touched his forehead and saw blood on his fingers. He sat there for a long time, trying to understand his situation. He was alone on a moon far from any human world. His communication system was broken. His engine was destroyed. He had food for maybe 10 days, water for 7. After that, he would die here, and nobody would ever know. Jiho closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He had been a medic in the military before he became a cargo pilot. He had seen death many times. He had held the hands of dying soldiers. He had learned that fear was useless. Only action mattered. He stood up slowly, checked his body for injuries, and found only small cuts. He was lucky. He could have died in the crash. He grabbed his bag, put some food and water in it, and picked up his old knife. Then he opened the door and stepped outside. The air was thin but breathable. The sky was orange, like a sunset that never ended. The ground was hard and covered with small, sharp rocks. In the distance, Jiho could see tall mountains. Everything was silent. No birds, no wind, no sound at all. He needed parts to fix his engine. Maybe, if he was very lucky, he could find something useful in the rocks. Old ships crashed on moons like this all the time. Pirates, traders, explorers, their broken ships became part of the ground after enough years. Jiho walked for 2 hours. His legs hurt. His head still bled a little. But he kept moving. Giving up was not something he knew how to do. Then he saw it. At first, he thought it was just another rock. But as he got closer, he saw the smooth metal surface. It was a ship or part of one. An escape pod, small and round, half buried in the ground. It had crashed recently. The metal was still shiny, not covered with dust yet. Jiho walked toward it carefully. He did not know who the pod belonged to. It could be human. It could be friendly aliens. Or it could be something worse. He saw the symbol on the side of the pod, and his heart stopped. 3 curved lines forming a circle. The mark of the Velari Dominion. Jiho stepped back. His hand went to his knife. The Velari were the enemies of humanity. They had burned human colonies. They had killed thousands of his people. They believed humans were animals, stupid, violent creatures that did not deserve to live among the stars. Every human child learned to fear the Velari. Every human soldier learned to fight them. And every human knew that if you met a Velari alone, you should run or die. Jiho should leave. He knew this. Walk away. Go back to his broken ship. Die alone on this moon. But at least die without helping the enemy. But something made him stop. The pod was damaged. The door was open just a little. And from inside, he heard a sound. A small, weak sound. Like someone crying. Jiho stood very still. His mind told him to leave. His heart told him something else. He thought about his mother. She had died when he was young, killed in a Velari attack on his home colony. He remembered her face, her kind eyes, her soft voice. She used to tell him that being human meant making hard choices. It meant helping others, even when it was difficult, even when it was dangerous. Strength without kindness, she used to say, is just cruelty wearing armor. Jiho looked at the pod. The crying continued. It sounded like a child. He put his knife back in his belt. His hands shook as he walked forward. He grabbed the edge of the broken door and pulled. The metal screamed as it bent. He pulled harder. Finally, the door opened. Inside, he saw her. She was small, very small, with pale blue skin and large dark eyes. She looked like a human child in some ways, but different in others. Her fingers were longer. Her ears were pointed. She had no hair, just smooth skin that seemed to glow a little in the orange light. She was hurt. Her arm was bent the wrong way. Blood purple, blood covered her clothes. She was unconscious, her small chest moving up and down slowly. A Velari child. The enemy. The daughter of monsters. Jiho stared at her for a long moment. He thought about all the humans the Velari had killed. He thought about his mother's grave, far away on a world he could never visit again. He thought about how easy it would be to walk away and let this child die. But when he looked at her face, he did not see an enemy. He saw a scared little girl, alone and hurt, just like he had been once. She did not choose to be born Velari. She did not burn any colonies. She was just a child. Jiho made his choice. He bent down carefully and lifted her into his arms. She was light, lighter than a human child her size would be. Her skin was cold. She needed warmth, medicine, food. She needed help. She needed him. I must be crazy, Jiho said to himself as he carried her back toward his ship. This is the stupidest thing I have ever done. But he did not stop. He walked across the rocky ground, holding the Velari child close to his chest, protecting her from the cold wind that had started to blow. Behind him, the orange sky began to turn dark. Night was coming to Keth 4, and with night came the creatures that lived in the shadows, the things that hunted in the darkness. Jiho walked faster. He had to reach his ship. He had to save this child. He did not know her name. He did not know why she was here. He did not know what would happen next. But he knew one thing. He was human. And humans did not leave children to die. Not even the children of their enemies. The broken ship waited ahead. And somewhere in the distance, Jiho heard the first howl of the night creatures waking up. He started to run. Jiho jumped back as her eyes opened wide. They were dark, purple, filled with terror. She tried to move, but her broken arm sent pain through her body. She screamed again and curled into a ball on the small bed Jiho had made from blankets. "Stay back!" she shouted in the common galactic language. Her voice was high and shaking. "Stay away from me, human!" Jiho raised his hand slowly, showing her that he held no weapon. "I am not going to hurt you," he said softly. "You are safe." Liar! Tears ran down her blue cheeks. Humans are liars and killers. My teachers told me. You eat children. You destroy everything. Jiho felt a small pain in his chest. This was what they taught Velari children about humans. Monsters. Beasts. Things to fear and hate. "I am not going to eat you," he said. He almost wanted to laugh, but he knew that would scare her more. "My name is Jiho. What is your name?" The child did not answer. She just stared at him with those big, frightened eyes, pressing herself against the wall of the ship as far from him as possible. Jiho sighed. He walked to the other side of the small room and sat down on the floor, making himself smaller, less threatening. "Your arm is broken," he said. "I fixed it while you were sleeping. I put a splint on it. Do you know what a splint is? It holds the bone in place so it can heal." The child looked down at her arm. It was wrapped in white cloth and held straight by two flat pieces of metal. She touched it carefully with her other hand. "You fixed me?" she asked. Her voice was still scared but also confused. "Yes, I was a medic before. I know how to help hurt people." Jiho reached into his bag and pulled out a small container. "Are you hungry? I have food. It is human food, but I think you can eat it." He opened the container and put it on the floor between them. Inside was dried fruit and some bread. Nothing special, just simple food that he carried for long trips. The child stared at the food. Jiho could see that she was hungry. She had probably not eaten in days, but she did not move. "It is not poison," Jiho said. He picked up a piece of dried fruit and ate it himself. "See? Safe." For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the child reached out with her good hand. She grabbed a piece of bread and pulled it back quickly, like a scared animal taking food from a trap. She bit into it, watching Jiho the whole time, ready to run if he moved. Jiho stayed very still. He let her eat. After she finished the bread, she ate more. Then she drank the water he gave her. Finally, when her stomach was full, she looked at him with slightly less fear. "Why?" she asked. "Why what? Why did you help me? I am Velari. You are human. We are enemies." Jiho thought about this question. It was a good question. He had asked himself the same thing many times since he found her. "You are a child," he said finally. "That is enough reason." The child did not seem to understand. She looked at him like he was speaking a language she had never heard. "My name is Vesa," she said quietly. "I am daughter of the Empress." Jiho's heart stopped for a moment. The daughter of the Empress, the most powerful Velari in the galaxy, the woman who had ordered the destruction of human worlds. He had saved the princess. "Well, Vesa," he said, keeping his voice calm, "it is nice to meet you. Now rest. Your body needs to heal." The first days were difficult. Vesa did not trust Jiho. She watched him constantly, waiting for him to attack. When he came too close, she would shake with fear. When he spoke, she looked for lies in his words. But Jiho was patient. He brought her food every morning. He checked her arm and changed the bandages gently. He gave her blankets when she was cold and water when she was thirsty. He asked for nothing in return. Slowly, Vesa began to relax. On the third day, she asked him a question. "What is that sound you make? The song without words?" Jiho realized he had been humming while he worked on the broken engine. It was an old Earth song his mother used to sing. "It is called humming," he said. "Humans do it when they are thinking, or when they are happy." "You are happy? Here?" Vesa looked around the broken ship. "This place is terrible." Jiho smiled. "I am alive. You are alive. The sun is shining. That is enough to be a little happy." Vesa stared at him. Then, for the first time, she smiled back. Just a small smile. But it was real. On the fifth day, the raiders came. Jiho was outside, looking for parts in the rocks, when he heard the sound of engines. He looked up and saw a small ship landing near the crashed Velari pod. 3 figures climbed out. They were not human, not Velari. They were Kreth gray-skinned scavengers who sold whatever they could find, including people. Jiho ran back to his ship. Vesa was inside, hiding under the blankets like he had told her to do if anyone came. "Stay quiet," he whispered. "Do not move. Do not make any sound." He grabbed his knife and went outside to meet the raiders. The leader of the Kreth was tall and ugly, with scars on his face. He smiled when he saw Jiho. "Human," he said. "Alone. Broken ship. This is good day for us." "I have nothing worth taking," Jiho said. "We will decide that." The leader looked at Jiho's ship. "Small ship. 1 human. But we heard interesting thing. Royal escape pod crashed on this moon. Velari princess inside. Big reward for anyone who finds her, dead or alive." Jiho's blood went cold. "There is no princess here. Just me." The Kreth leader laughed. "Then you will not mind if we look." He started walking toward the ship. Jiho stepped in front of him. "You will not go inside." The leader stopped. He was much bigger than Jiho. His 2 friends had weapons, plasma guns that could burn a hole through metal. Jiho had only his small knife. "Move, human, or die." "No." The leader hit Jiho hard across the face. Jiho fell to the ground, tasting blood. But he got up again and stood in front of the ship door. The leader hit him again and again. Jiho fell each time, and each time he stood back up. Blood ran from his nose and mouth. His left eye was swelling shut, but he did not move away from the door. "Why do you protect her?" the leader asked, confused. "She is Velari. They hate your kind. They killed millions of you." Jiho spit blood onto the ground. "She is a child. That is enough reason." The leader pulled out a long knife. "Then die for a child. Who would not die for you?" He stabbed forward. Jiho tried to block, but he was too slow. The blade went into his shoulder. Pain exploded through his body. He grabbed the Kreth's arm with both hands and held on. "Run," he shouted at the ship. "Vesa, run!" But Vesa did not run. Instead, she appeared in the doorway, her eyes glowing bright purple. She raised her good hand, and light exploded from her palm. The Kreth screamed. The leader flew backward, hitting the ground hard. His two friends turned to run, but another blast of light knocked them down. They scrambled to their feet and ran to their ship, leaving their leader behind. The leader looked at Vesa with pure terror. "Royal blood," he whispered. "The power of the Empress." "Leave," Vesa said. Her voice was cold and hard. "Tell no one what you saw here, or I will find you." The leader ran. Minutes later, the raider ship flew away into the orange sky. Jiho fell to his knees, holding his bleeding shoulder. Vesa ran to him and knelt beside him. "You are hurt," she said. Her voice was different now, scared, but not of him, scared for him. "You are bleeding. Why did you do that? Why did you fight them?" Jiho looked at her young face. "I told you," he said weakly. "You are a child. That is enough." Vesa's eyes filled with tears. "No one has ever. My own guards would not have." She could not finish. She helped him inside the ship. She brought him bandages and water. She watched him carefully as he fixed his own wound with shaking hands. That night, she sat beside him as he slept. And for the first time, she was not afraid of the human. She was afraid of losing him. His shoulder hurt every time he moved. The wound was deep, and he had to work slowly. But he did not stop. Every morning, he woke up before the sun and worked on the engine. Every night, he fell asleep exhausted, his hands covered with oil and dirt. Vesa watched him work. At first, she just sat quietly and observed. Then she started asking questions. "What is that part called? Why does it connect to that other part? How does the engine make the ship fly?" Jiho answered every question patiently. He showed her how the fuel system worked. He explained how the power moved from the engine to the thrusters. He let her hold the tools and hand them to him when he needed them. "You are a good teacher," Vesa said one afternoon. "Better than my tutors at home. They only talked. They never showed me anything. Doing is the best way to learn," Jiho said. "Books are good, but hands are better." Vesa smiled. She smiled a lot now. The fear was gone from her eyes. In its place was something new: trust, friendship, maybe even love. The kind a child feels for someone who protects her. On the 12th day, Jiho turned on the engine. It coughed and shook, but it started. The ship was alive again. "We can fly." Vesa jumped up and down with excitement. "We can leave this terrible moon." Jiho nodded, but his face was serious. "Yes, we can leave. But Vesa, we need to talk about where we are going." Vesa stopped jumping. She looked at him with confusion. "What do you mean?" "We go to Velari space. To my mother. To home." "That is the problem." Jiho sat down heavily on a box. "Velari space is death for humans. If I fly there, they will kill me. Maybe not right away. Maybe they will ask questions first. But in the end, they will kill me." Vesa's face went pale. "No. I will tell them you saved me. I will tell my mother. She will protect you." "Will she?" Jiho looked at her gently. "Your mother has killed many humans. She believes we are monsters. Will she believe that a monster saved her daughter? Or will she think I am lying? That I am a spy? That I took you as a prisoner?" Vesa opened her mouth to argue, but no words came out. Jiho could see her thinking about it. Thinking about her mother. Thinking about what would really happen. Then do not take me home," she said finally. Her voice was very small. "Take me to human space. I will stay with you. I do not want you to die." Jiho felt his heart grow warm. This child, this Velari princess, was willing to give up her home, her family, her entire life just to save him. A human, a creature her people called an animal. "I cannot do that," he said softly. "Your mother is looking for you. She is probably very scared. She thinks you are dead. I cannot let her suffer like that. And you cannot live your whole life hiding. You are a princess. Your people need you. But they will kill you." "Maybe." Jiho shrugged. "Maybe not. We will not know until we try." "That is stupid." Tears ran down Vesa's face. "That is the stupidest thing I have ever heard. Why would you risk your life for me? I am nothing to you." Jiho reached out and wiped her tears with his thumb. "You are not nothing. You are Vesa. You are brave and smart and kind. You are my friend. And friends do not leave each other, even when it is hard, even when it is dangerous. Vesa cried for a long time. Jiho held her and let her cry. When she was finished, she looked up at him with red eyes. Promise me something, she said. What? Promise me you will not die. Promise me you will stay with me, forever. Jiho knew he should not make that promise. He could not control what would happen. But looking at her desperate face, he could not say no. I promise, he said. I will try my best. The journey to Velari space took 8 days. They talked a lot during those days. Vesa told Jiho about her life, the big palace where she lived, the servants who followed her everywhere, the lessons she had to learn about history and politics and war. She told him about her mother, who was always busy, always worried, always giving orders. She loves me, Vesa said. I know she does. But sometimes I feel like she loves the Dominion more. Like I am not her daughter, but her future. Something she is building for the Empire. That sounds lonely, Jiho said. It is. Vesa looked out the window at the stars. I was running away when my pod crashed. Did I tell you that? Running away? From what? From everything. From the lessons and the guards and the people who tell me what to do all day. I just wanted to be free for a little while. I took an escape pod and flew it myself. She laughed sadly. I am not a very good pilot. I made mistakes. Then the assassins found me. Assassins? People who want to kill my mother. They cannot reach her, so they tried to kill me instead. They shot my pod. I fell here. Vesa turned to look at Jiho. If you had not found me, I would be dead. The assassins, the raiders, the cold, the creatures at night. I would be dead many times. Jiho nodded. But you are not dead. You are here. You are alive. That is what matters. Vesa smiled. Then she reached into her pocket and pulled out something, a small device with buttons on it. What is that? Jiho asked. A music player. It was in my pod. It has Velari songs on it. She pressed a button and strange, beautiful music filled the ship. It was unlike anything Jiho had ever heard, high voices singing words he did not understand. Soft sounds like water falling over stones. This is my favorite song, Vesa said. My grandmother used to sing it to me. It is about a star that falls from the sky and becomes a flower. It is beautiful, Jiho said honestly. Teach me a human song, Vesa demanded. You know human songs, right? All humans know songs. Jiho laughed. I am not a good singer. I do not care. Teach me. So Jiho taught her. He taught her old songs from Earth, songs about rivers and mountains, about love and loss, about hope and home. His voice was rough and not very pretty, but Vesa listened like he was the greatest singer in the galaxy. When he finished one song, she clapped her hands. Another! Teach me another. But the next song Jiho did not sing. Instead, he reached into his jacket and pulled out something small and silver. It was a harmonica, a tiny musical instrument with holes along its side. This belonged to my mother, he said. She gave it to me before she died. I cannot sing her favorite song, but I can play it. He put the harmonica to his lips and played. The music was simple and sad, a slow melody that seemed to fill the whole ship with memory and longing. When he finished, he saw that Vesa was crying. That was beautiful, she whispered. What is the song about? It is about coming home after a long journey, about seeing the people you love again. Vesa wiped her eyes. Will you play it for my mother? When we arrive? I think she needs to hear it. I think she has forgotten what coming home feels like. Jiho put the harmonica back in his jacket. If she lets me live long enough, I will play it. On the 7th day, Vesa said something that surprised him. Jiho Rin, she called him. Jiho looked up from the control panel. What did you call me? Vesa blushed, her blue skin turning slightly purple. Jiho Rin. It is. It is a Velari word. We add it to the names of people who are like family, people we love. Jiho was quiet for a long moment. He had not had family for many years. His mother was dead. His father had disappeared when he was young. He had been alone for so long that he had forgotten what it felt like to belong to someone. Jiho Rin, he repeated. The word felt strange on his tongue, but also warm. Good. I like it. Vesa smiled the biggest smile he had ever seen. On the 8th day, they reached the border of Velari space, and the warships were waiting for them. There were 5 of them. 5 massive Velari warships, each one bigger than a city, each one carrying enough weapons to destroy a planet. They appeared out of nowhere, surrounding Jiho's tiny cargo ship like giants looking down at an insect. Jiho's hands froze on the control stick. His heart beat so fast he could hear it in his ears. This was it. The moment he had known was coming. The moment when he would find out if saving Vesa was the right choice or the last mistake of his life. "Do not be afraid," Vesa said. She stood next to him, her small hand on his arm. "I will protect you. I promise." A voice came through the communication system. It was cold and sharp, speaking the common galactic language with a Velari accent. "Human vessel, you have entered Velari sovereign space. This is a violation of Imperial law. You will shut down your engines and prepare to be boarded. If you resist, you will be destroyed." Jiho looked at Vesa. She nodded. He turned on the communication system and spoke. "This is cargo pilot Jiho of the human territories. I am not here to fight. I am bringing home Princess Vesa, daughter of the Empress. She was lost. I found her. Please, let me explain." There was silence. Long, terrible silence. Jiho imagined the Velari officers looking at each other, confused. A human claiming to have their lost princess? It sounded like a trick. It sounded like something a spy would say. Then a different voice came through. This one was higher, more surprised. "Princess Vesa? Is she there? Is she alive?" Vesa leaned forward and spoke into the communication system. "This is Vesa. I am here. I am alive. The human saved my life. He protected me. Please, do not hurt him. Let us come aboard peacefully." More silence. Then the cold voice returned. "Princess, we are sending a shuttle. Stay where you are. Do not move." The shuttle arrived quickly. It was small and gray, with armed soldiers inside. Jiho watched through the window as it connected to his ship. The door opened. 6 Velari soldiers marched in, their weapons pointed at Jiho's chest. "Step away from the princess," the leader ordered. "Put your hands where we can see them." Jiho raised his hands slowly. "I am not armed. I am not a threat. Please, just listen." The leader hit him across the face with the back of his weapon. Jiho fell to the floor, pain exploding through his skull. "Silence, human. You do not speak unless spoken to." "Stop!" Vesa screamed. She ran toward Jiho, but 2 soldiers grabbed her and held her back. "Stop hurting him. He saved me. He took care of me." "The princess is confused," the leader said. "She has been a prisoner of this human for weeks. She does not understand what has happened to her. Take her to the medical ship. She needs examination." "I am not confused." Vesa fought against the soldiers, kicking and screaming. "Listen to me. He is good. He is kind. Do not hurt him." But the soldiers did not listen. They dragged Vesa toward the shuttle door. She reached out her hand toward Jiho, her eyes filled with tears. "Jiho Ren," she screamed. "Jiho Ren." Jiho tried to stand, but a soldier kicked him back down. He could only watch as Vesa disappeared into the shuttle, her screams echoing through the empty ship. Then the soldiers turned to him. "The human will come with us," the leader said. "The Empress will want to question him personally. Put him in chains." They put metal bands around his wrists and ankles. The bands were tight, cutting into his skin. They pulled a black bag over his head so he could not see. They pushed him forward, making him walk blindly toward the shuttle. Jiho did not fight. Fighting would only make things worse. He walked carefully, trying not to fall, trying not to give them a reason to hit him again. The shuttle ride was short. When they removed the bag from his head, he was in a dark room with metal walls. A prison cell. Small, cold, empty. No bed, no water, no window. Just gray walls and a locked door. Jiho sat down on the cold floor and closed his eyes. He had known this would happen. He had known they would not believe him. He had known they would call him a kidnapper, a spy, an enemy. But he had done what was right. He had saved a child. He had brought her home. Whatever happened next, he could accept it. But deep in his heart, he hoped. He hoped that Vesa was safe. He hoped that she would find a way to reach her mother. He hoped that somehow, against all reason, he would survive this. Hope was all he had left. On the medical ship, Vesa was surrounded by doctors. They checked her body, looked at her arm, asked her hundreds of questions. She answered none of them. "Where is the human?" she demanded. "What are you doing to him?" "Princess, please relax. You are safe now. The human cannot hurt you anymore. He never hurt me." Vesa pushed away a doctor who tried to touch her face. "He healed me. He fed me. He fought for me. Why will no one listen?" The doctors exchanged looks. One of them wrote something on a tablet. Vesa knew what they were thinking. They thought the human had done something to her mind, brainwashed her, made her believe lies. They did not understand. They could not understand. They had been taught all their lives that humans were monsters. How could they believe that a monster had saved their princess? A high officer entered the room. He was tall and thin, with cold eyes and a permanent frown. Vesa recognized him, Admiral Thane, one of her mother's most trusted commanders. "Princess Vesa," he said, bowing slightly, "I am relieved to see you alive. Your mother has been searching for you for weeks. She will be very happy to hear you are safe." "Then take me to her," Vesa said. "Now. I need to speak with her. I need to explain about the human." Admiral Thane's frown deepened. "The human is an enemy. He will be questioned and executed according to imperial law. There is nothing to explain." "No." Vesa stood up from the medical bed. "You cannot execute him. He saved my life. Multiple times. If it were not for him, I would be dead." "Princess, you are young. You do not understand how the galaxy works. Humans are clever creatures. They lie. They manipulate. This human probably saved you so he could use you as a hostage. Or maybe he planned to sell you to our enemies. Whatever his reasons, they were not good. He is human. Humans are never good." Vesa felt a fire burning inside her. A fire of anger and frustration and desperate fear. "Take me to my mother. Now. That is an order." The Admiral raised an eyebrow. "Princess, you do not have the authority to. I am the daughter of the Empress. I am the heir to the throne. And I am ordering you to take me to my mother. If you refuse, I will remember it. Forever." Admiral Thane stared at her for a long moment. He saw something in her eyes, something hard, something dangerous, something that looked very much like her mother. "Very well," he said finally. "We will take you to the Citadel. But the human stays here. Your mother will decide his fate." Vesa nodded. It was not perfect, but it was enough. She would see her mother. She would explain everything. She would make her understand. She had to. They took her to a small room with a bed and food. They said she needed to rest before seeing the Empress. But Vesa did not eat. She did not sleep. She sat by the window and looked out at the stars, thinking about Jiho. Where was he now? Was he hurt? Was he scared? Was he thinking about her? She touched the harmonica in her pocket. She had taken it from his jacket before the soldiers came. He had not noticed. She wanted something to remember him by, something to hold when she was scared. Now she held it tightly, pressing the cold metal against her chest. "I will save you, Jiho-Rin," she whispered. "I promise. I will not let them hurt you. I will not let you die." The stars did not answer. But somewhere, in a cold prison cell on a warship, Jiho closed his eyes and thought of a little girl with blue skin and purple eyes. And despite everything, he smiled. The journey to the Citadel took 3 days. 3 days of silence. 3 days of waiting. 3 days of fear. When the ship finally landed, Vesa was ready. She had practiced what she would say. She had planned how she would explain. She had prepared for every argument, every question, every doubt. She would save him. Whatever it took. Whatever it cost. She was the daughter of the Empress. And she would not let the one good thing in her life die. The doors of the throne room waited ahead. Behind them was her mother. Behind them was the future. Vesa took a deep breath and walked forward. The throne room was the largest room Vesa had ever seen. The ceiling was so high that clouds could form beneath it. The walls were made of black stone that shined like glass. Hundreds of Velari nobles stood in rows on both sides, dressed in their finest clothes, whispering to each other behind their hands. At the end of the room, on a throne made of crystal and silver, sat the Empress. Vessa's mother was beautiful and terrible. Her skin was deep blue, darker than Vessa's. Her eyes were like purple stars, bright and cold. She wore a crown of living light that floated above her head, moving slowly like a ring of fire. She sat perfectly still, like a statue, like a goddess. When Vessa entered the room, the whispers stopped. Every eye turned to look at her. The little princess who had been lost. The little princess who had been found. Vessa walked down the long path toward the throne. Her legs felt weak. Her heart beat like a drum. But she did not stop. She could not stop. Jiho's life depended on what happened in the next few minutes. When she reached the bottom of the throne stairs, she stopped and bowed. "Mother." The Empress did not move. For a long moment, she just stared at her daughter. Then, slowly, she stood. She walked down the stairs, her long dress flowing behind her like water. She stopped in front of Vessa and looked down at her. "My daughter," she said. Her voice was soft, but it filled the whole room. "My child, you are alive." And then something happened that Vessa had not expected. The Empress, the most powerful person in the galaxy, the ruler of 1,000 worlds, fell to her knees and pulled Vessa into her arms. "I thought you were dead," the Empress whispered. Her voice was shaking. "I thought I had lost you forever. My little star, my precious child." Vessa felt tears on her face, her mother's tears. She had never seen her mother cry. Never. The Empress was always strong, always calm, always in control. But now she was holding her daughter and crying like any other mother who had found her lost child. For a moment, Vessa forgot about everything else. She forgot about the nobles watching them. She forgot about the danger. She forgot even about Jiho. She just held her mother and cried with her. But the moment could not last forever. The Empress stood and wiped her eyes. Her face became hard again, like a mask coming back into place. She looked at the nobles around them. "My daughter has returned," she announced. "The princess of the Velari Dominion is safe. Let there be celebration throughout the empire." The nobles cheered and clapped. But Vessa did not smile. She stepped back and looked up at her mother. "Mother, I need to tell you something." The Empress looked at her with curiosity. "What is it, child?" "The human, the one who brought me here. He saved my life." The whisper started again, louder this time. Vessa heard words like impossible and human and lies. Her mother's face did not change. "The Admiral told me about the human," the Empress said. "He will be questioned and punished according to our laws. You do not need to worry about him anymore." "No." Vessa's voice was stronger now. "You do not understand. He did not kidnap me. He did not hurt me. He saved me, many times." The Empress raised an eyebrow. "Explain." So Vessa explained. She told the whole story. From the beginning. She told about the crash, about waking up in the human ship, about how scared she was. She told about Jiho treating her wounds, feeding her, teaching her about engines. She told about the raiders who came to kill her, and how Jiho fought them alone, taking a knife in his shoulder to protect her. She showed them the scar on her arm, the one Jiho had stitched with his own hands. She showed them how perfectly it had healed. "He had every reason to hate me," Vessa said. Her voice echoed in the silent room. "Our people have killed his people. We have burned his colonies. We have called him and all his kind monsters and animals. But when he found me hurt and alone, he did not hate me. He helped me. He protected me. He risked his life for me." She looked at her mother with fierce eyes. "He is not a monster, Mother. He is the kindest person I have ever met. And if you kill him, you will be killing an innocent man who did nothing wrong except save your daughter." The throne room was completely silent. The nobles stared at Vessa like she had grown a second head. No one had ever spoken to the Empress like this. No one had ever defended a human like this. The Empress looked at her daughter for a long time. Her face was impossible to read. Then she spoke. "You say this human saved you, that he protected you, that he risked his life for you. Yes. And you believe he did this out of kindness? Not because he wanted something from you? Not because he planned to use you?" Vesa nodded. I know it is hard to believe. I did not believe it at first either. I was taught that humans are evil, that they lie and cheat and destroy. But Jiho is not like that. He helped me because I was a child who needed help. That is all. He told me that is enough reason. The Empress's eyes narrowed. Enough reason? Yes, he said that I was a child. And that is enough reason to help me. He did not care that I am Velari. He did not care that our people are enemies. He saw a scared little girl, and he helped her. That is what humans do. Mother, at least that is what Jiho does. A noble from the crowd stepped forward. He was old, with a long face and angry eyes. Admiral Thane. Empress? The child is clearly confused. The human has manipulated her mind. We should not. Silence. The Empress's voice was like a blade cutting through the air. Admiral Thane stepped back, his face pale. The Empress looked at Vesa again. You care about this human? Yes. Vesa's voice did not shake. He is my friend. He called me his friend too. He said that friends do not leave each other, even when it is hard, even when it is dangerous. And what do you want me to do? Let him live. Let me talk to him. Let me show you that he is good. Vesa reached into her pocket and pulled out the harmonica. He gave this to me. It belonged to his mother. She died in a Velari attack on her colony. He lost everything because of us. But he still saved me. Does that sound like a monster to you? The Empress stared at the small silver instrument in her daughter's hand. Her face was still hard, but something in her eyes had changed. Something had shifted. Bring the human to me, she said finally. I will judge him myself. The nobles gasped and whispered. Some looked angry, some looked confused. But no one dared to argue. Vesa felt hope bloom in her chest like a flower. It was not over yet. But it was a start. Thank you, Mother. The Empress looked at her daughter with an expression Vesa could not understand. Pride? Confusion? Something else entirely? You have changed, my child, the Empress said quietly. You left as a girl who was scared of everything. You have returned as someone who stands before the throne and demands justice for an enemy. He is not my enemy, Vesa said. He is my family. The Empress's eyes widened slightly. Then she nodded. Bring the human, she ordered. Now. The doors opened. Guards marched out to get the prisoner. And Vesa waited, holding the harmonica tightly in her hand, praying to every star in the sky that Jiho was still alive. He had to be alive. He had promised. Vesa saw it the moment they brought him into the throne room. Jiho's face was covered with bruises. His left eye was swollen shut. Blood dripped from a cut on his lip. His clothes were torn and dirty. He walked slowly, painfully, like every step hurt. But he was alive. And when he saw Vesa, he smiled. That smile almost broke her heart. He was standing before the most powerful people in the galaxy, chained like an animal, beaten and bleeding, and he was smiling because she was safe. The guards pushed Jiho to his knees in front of the throne. He fell hard but did not cry out. He just looked up at the Empress with calm eyes. The Empress studied him. Her face showed nothing, no anger, no curiosity, nothing at all. She was completely still, like a predator watching its prey. So, she said finally, you are the human. Yes. Jiho's voice was rough from thirst, but steady. My name is Jiho. I am a cargo pilot from the human territories. My daughter tells me you saved her life, that you protected her from raiders, that you brought her home even though you knew it meant your death. Yes. Why? The question hung in the air like smoke. Every noble in the room leaned forward, waiting for the answer. Jiho was quiet for a moment. He seemed to be thinking about how to explain something very complicated in very simple words. She is a child, he said finally. She was hurt and scared and alone. Anyone who could walk away from that is not human anymore. But she is Velari. Our people have killed millions of your kind. We have destroyed your colonies. We have called you animals and monsters. You had every reason to hate her, to let her die, to kill her yourself. I did have those reasons. Jiho nodded slowly. I thought about them. When I first found her, I almost walked away. I almost left her to die. The nobles whispered angrily. The Empress raised her hand, and they fell silent. What stopped you? She asked. I looked at her face. Jiho's voice became softer. She was so small, so scared. She did not look like an enemy. She looked like a child who needed help. And I remembered something my mother used to say. What did she say? She said that strength without kindness is just cruelty wearing armor. Jiho met the Empress's eyes. Your people killed my mother. But I will not let that make me into something cruel. I will not let hate turn me into a monster. I would rather die as a human than live as the thing you believe I am. The throne room was completely silent. No whispers, no movement. Just the sound of Jiho's words echoing off the stone walls. Admiral Thane stepped forward. His face was red with anger. Empress, this is madness. The human is clearly lying. He is trying to manipulate you, just as he manipulated your daughter. We must execute him immediately, before he does more damage. Several nobles murmured in agreement. Execute the human. Kill him, he is dangerous. Jiho did not look at them. He kept his eyes on the Empress. I am not lying, he said. I know you have no reason to believe me. I know that everything you have been told about humans says I must be evil. But I did what I did because it was right. Not because I wanted something. Not because I had a plan. Just because a child needed help, and I could help her. He paused. You can kill me if you want. I knew that was possible when I decided to bring her here. But before you do, I want you to know one thing. What is that? The Empress asked. Your daughter is amazing. Jiho smiled, a real smile, full of warmth. She is brave and smart and kind. She learned to trust me even though she was taught to hate me. She fought to protect me even though she knew it might cost her everything. She has more courage than anyone I have ever met. You should be very proud of her. The Empress's mask cracked. Just a little. Something flickered in her eyes, something that might have been surprise, or pain, or wonder. Vesa could not stay silent anymore. She ran to Jiho and stood beside him, facing the throne. Mother, please. Look at him. Listen to him. Does he sound like a monster? Does he sound like an animal? He could have hated me. He could have hurt me. He could have used me. But he did not do any of those things. He just helped me. Because that is who he is. She looked at the nobles around her. You call humans dangerous. You call them primitive. You call them our enemies. But this human took a knife in his shoulder to protect me. This human walked into Velari space knowing he would probably die. This human did more for me in 3 weeks than any of you have done in my entire life. Her voice rose. He is not our enemy. He is the best person I have ever known. And if you kill him, her voice cracked. If you kill him, you will prove that everything he believed about us is wrong, that we are the monsters, that we are the cruel ones, that we cannot see goodness even when it stands right in front of us. Tears ran down her face. She reached down and took Jiho's chained hand in her own. If you kill him, you kill the only good thing I have ever known about the galaxy. And you will have to kill me too, because I will never forgive you. Never. The nobles stared in shock. A princess of the Velari, holding hands with a human, threatening the Empress herself. It was unthinkable. It was impossible. The Empress stood slowly. She walked down the stairs, her dress trailing behind her. She stopped in front of Jiho and Vesa and looked at them for a long moment. Then she spoke not to the room, but just to them. I have ruled the Dominion for 40 years. I have made decisions that killed millions. I told myself it was necessary. I told myself humans were dangerous. I told myself I was protecting my people. She looked at Jiho's battered face. But I never met a human before. Not really. I only knew them as enemies, as numbers, as threats to be eliminated. She reached out and touched the cut on his lip very gently. They did this to you, my soldiers? Yes. Jiho did not pull away. But I do not blame them. They were taught to hate me, just as your daughter was taught to hate me. They do not know any better. And yet you do not hate them back? Hate is heavy. I do not have the energy to carry it. Jiho smiled weakly. Besides, I prefer to save my strength for more important things, like teaching your daughter how to play the harmonica. Despite everything, the Empress almost smiled. You are a strange human, Jiho of the territories. I have been told that before. The Empress turned to look at her daughter. You truly love him? This human? Vesa nodded, still holding Jiho's hand. He is my family, mother. He is my Jiho Rin. The Empress closed her eyes. When she opened them again, something had changed. The mask was gone. For the first time, she looked not like an empress, but like a mother. Then I will not take your family from you. She turned to face the court. The human Jiho is under my protection. No one will harm him. No one will touch him. Anyone who raises a hand against him will answer to me personally. The nobles erupted in protest. Admiral Thane stepped forward, his face purple with rage. Empress, you cannot. I can, the Empress said coldly. I am the Empress. My word is law, and my word is that this human will live. She looked back at Jiho. Tomorrow, we will talk. You will tell me about your people, about who they really are, and I will listen. Perhaps it is time for things to change. Jiho bowed his head. Thank you. Do not thank me yet, human. This is only the beginning. There are many who will want you dead. Many who will not accept this. The road ahead will be difficult. I know. Jiho looked at Vesa and smiled. But I have a good reason to walk it. The chains fell from his wrists, and for the first time in weeks, Jiho stood as a free man. The throne room was empty now. The nobles had left, some angry, some confused, some quietly thoughtful. Only 3 people remained: the Empress, her daughter, and the human who had changed everything. Jiho sat on the steps of the throne, too tired to stand. Vesa sat next to him, still holding his hand. The Empress stood before them, looking at them with eyes that seemed to see everything. I have killed thousands of your people, she said to Jiho. Her voice was quiet now, almost gentle. I ordered attacks on human colonies. I watched your cities burn. I told myself it was necessary, that humans were dangerous, that they would destroy us if we did not destroy them first. Jiho said nothing. He just listened. I was wrong. The words seemed to hurt her as they came out. I look at you now, and I see someone who had every reason to hate my daughter, to hurt her, to use her for revenge. And instead, you saved her. You protected her. You loved her. She is easy to love, Jiho said. She is brave and kind and curious. She reminds me of myself when I was young, before the war, before I learned to be afraid. The Empress looked at her daughter. You have changed, Vesa. You left as a child. You have returned as something more. Vesa shook her head. I have not changed, mother. I just learned to see differently. Jiho showed me that the things we believe are not always true, that enemies can become friends, that the galaxy is bigger and more complicated than our teachers told us. The Empress was quiet for a long moment. Then she did something unexpected. She sat down on the steps next to them, her fine dress spreading out on the cold stone. I built this dominion on strength, she said, on power, on the belief that we must be harder, colder, stronger than everyone else to survive. I forgot that strength can take many forms. I forgot that kindness can be a kind of strength. She looked at Jiho. You are very weak, human. Your body is soft. Your life is short. You have no great powers, no armies, no empire. And yet you walked into the heart of your enemy's territory, knowing you would probably die, just to bring a child home to her mother. Yes, that takes a different kind of strength, a kind I had forgotten existed. Jiho nodded slowly. My mother taught me that the strongest thing a person can do is choose kindness when cruelty would be easier. It is easy to hate. It is easy to hurt. It is easy to walk away from someone who needs you. The hard thing, the brave thing is to help anyway. The Empress closed her eyes. When she opened them again, they were wet with tears she did not try to hide. I want to give you a choice, Jiho of the territories. I can send you back to human space with a ship full of treasure. I can give you enough wealth to live comfortably for the rest of your life. You would be free to go home and forget all of this. Or you can stay here. I will make you the first human citizen of the Velari Dominion. You would be my daughter's guardian, her teacher, her protector. You would help me build a bridge between our peoples. It would be dangerous work. Many would want you dead. But you would have purpose. You would have meaning. She paused. And you would have family. Vesa squeezed Jiho's hand tightly. He could feel her hope, her fear, her desperate wish that he would stay. Jiho thought about his life, his empty ship, his lonely journeys through the stars, the colonies he delivered medicine to, where no one knew his name, the years of solitude, of going from place to place with no home, no connection, no one who would miss him if he disappeared. And then he thought about Vesa, her smile when he taught her songs, her laughter when he made bad jokes, the way she called him Jiho-rin, with so much love in her voice. He thought about what his mother would want him to do. I think, he said slowly, I would like to teach her more songs. Vesa threw her arms around him, crying and laughing at the same time. The Empress watched them with a smile that was small but real, the first real smile she had shown in years. Then it is decided, the Empress said. Tomorrow I will announce your new status to the Dominion. There will be anger. There will be resistance. But I am the Empress. They will learn to accept it. What about the humans? Jiho asked. What will happen between our peoples? The Empress stood and walked to the window. Outside, the sky was filled with stars, millions of them, scattered across the darkness like glowing dust. For 50 years we have been at war. Perhaps it is time to try something different. She turned back to look at them. I want you to help me understand your people, Jiho. I want to know who they really are, not who I was taught they are. And then, maybe, we can begin to talk, to negotiate, to find a way to live in the same galaxy without killing each other. Peace? Jiho could barely believe what he was hearing. You want peace with humanity? I want my daughter to grow up in a galaxy that is not burning. I want her to inherit something other than war. And if a single human can show me that your kind is not the enemy, I believed. She shook her head. Then perhaps I have been wrong about many things. The first peace talks began 3 months later. Jiho was there, standing beside the Empress as human diplomats entered the Citadel for the first time in history. He wore Velari clothes, now a simple robe of dark blue, with silver threads that caught the light. He looked strange, the only human in a sea of blue-skinned aliens. But he stood with confidence, with dignity, with the calm strength that had saved Vesa's life on a distant moon. Vesa stood on his other side. She was taller now, growing faster than before. She still called him Jiho-rin. She still held his hand when she was nervous, and she still demanded that he teach her new songs every night before she slept. The peace talks were difficult. There was anger, suspicion, old wounds that did not heal easily. But slowly, carefully, the two sides began to talk, to listen, to understand. One day, during a break in the negotiations, a human diplomat approached Jiho. He was an older man, with gray hair and tired eyes. How did you do it? The diplomat asked. How did you make them listen? Jiho thought about the question for a moment. Then he smiled. I saved a child, he said. That is all. I saved a child who needed help. Everything else came from that. The diplomat looked confused. That cannot be the whole answer. It is the whole answer. Jiho looked across the room at Vesa, who was talking excitedly to a group of young human visitors, showing them the harmonica she still carried everywhere. Kindness is not weakness. It is the strongest force in the galaxy. It just moves slowly, one person at a time, one act at a time, one child at a time. The diplomat shook his head, still not understanding. But Jiho did not try to explain further. Some things could not be taught with words. They had to be lived. That night, after the diplomats had gone home and the Citadel was quiet, Jiho sat on a balcony overlooking the city. Vesa sat beside him, wrapped in a warm blanket, looking up at the stars. Do you think it will work? She asked. Peace, I mean, do you think humans and Velari can really be friends? Jiho pulled out his harmonica and looked at it thoughtfully. I do not know. Peace is hard. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes people who are willing to try, even when it seems impossible. Like you did, Vesa said. Like we did, Jiho corrected her. You believed in me when no one else did. You stood up for me when it would have been easier to stay quiet. You are part of this too. Vesa smiled and leaned against his shoulder. Jiho-rin? Yes? I am glad you found me. I am glad you saved me. I am glad you stayed. Jiho put his arm around her and held her close. So am I. He lifted the harmonica to his lips and played. The same song his mother used to sing, the song about coming home after a long journey, about seeing the people you love again. The music drifted out over the city, soft and sweet and full of hope. And somewhere in the distance, in a window of the citadel, the Empress stood and listened. She remembered the child she had almost lost, the human who had brought her back, the choice that had changed everything, and for the first time in many years, she let herself hope that tomorrow might be better than today. The stars shone above them all, bright and eternal. And in the darkness between worlds, where humans and Velari had once fought and died, there was now silence. Not the silence of death, the silence of peace beginning.